Hey everyone, Pioneergirl08 here. Hope y'all are having an amazing, fun, and safe day. So, we are continuing on with the color challenge, and today I am doing orange, and I'm doing these in a pastel. So, I kind of was trying to go for like the mostly peach type of coloring for this sim, which, by the way, you'll see that it is a male sim. Most of the time, I usually do my casts using female sims, but when I added to the family, uh, which I'll have to explain that in a minute, when I added to the so-called family, it came up as a male sim, and I just decided to kind of stick with that for just for the fun of it. But this is Nathaniel, I believe his name is Nathaniel Orange. So I randomized on the first name, and then the last name, I just gave him the name Orange. So for his everyday wear, it's just kind of a laid back, relaxed tank top with a pair of long gym shorts, I think they're supposed to be, or something, I'm not sure. For his formal wear, the bottoms that I ended up going with, which was really the best ones that I found in the orange shade, that kind of gave me the peach as best as possible, the kind of peach, lighter orange type of shade that I was looking for, kind of gave me the vibe from like the movie King and I. For those of you who have ever seen it, I think there's an older version of it from like way back when, and then I think there's a newer version of it. I've never seen the newer version. I've seen the older version of it, but anyway, that's the kind of vibe that I got from those bottoms. But finding a top for it, I mean, you can see me going through several different tops, and just none of them really were really, working. I did kind of finally go for the one that you kind of see me going back and forth on. It was the best I could do. I didn't really like any of the tops and the way they looked with the shorts. I say short, excuse me, not shorts, but bottoms. I'm sorry, those aren't shorts. But anyway, the top doesn't really, it was the best I could come up with. I'm not real super happy with it. He's also got that head covering on him. So I think the idea is that he's maybe like a prince or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really thought through the storyline, but he's like maybe a prince, and so he only dresses up like that when he's got like a formal occasion to go to. But he's most of the time he's kind of like just low key, keeping things on the down low, so to speak. But anyway, so here's his. What do you call it? I can't think today. This is athletic attire, just a pair of gym shorts, and then the same tank top that he had for his everyday wear. And then the sleepwear, he just basically, I just kind of threw him in that t-shirt, and then just a pair of swim trunks is what I ended up putting him in. And then this is his party wear. I was going to put him in that one kind of like blue and orange and yellow type of outfit, but in the end I ended up putting him in a pair of pants because I just didn't like I just didn't like the coloration on it, and I didn't like the tops that I was coming up with. I just wasn't liking what I was seeing. And as you can see, the swimwear took about a second for me. I've got this, by the way, on fast speed. So this is like eight by 8 times speed, however you're supposed to say that. So yeah, that's why some of these things are just flipping through real quick. And so that was his hot weather wear, and then real quick his cold weather wear. Kind of stuck him in. Again, I'm not real super happy with some of the colors that I was getting. I wasn't finding a lot of like peach type of shade that I was looking for, so I tried to go as light as possible with the orange. And so here we are working on his little home, and you might recognize a little bit the fact that this house setup is the same one that I used in my style challenge. I basically just like went in. I had loaded the style challenge to the gallery, that house to the gallery, and then so I downloaded it into my game, and then basically used that for I'm using that for the color challenge. So each sim will have their own little micro, I think micro or tinier home. I forget how many tiles I used in each of the individual houses. Now, as a whole, it's not going to count as a micro home because the lot itself is going to have more than required. But if I remember correctly, I think the tile for each individual house would count as maybe not the micro. I don't think it counts as the micro because I think it's too big, but it would count as a tiny home. I think I forget exactly, but it's in that realm of size of like the tiny home residential thing. But as a lot, no, it won't count because the lot itself is going to be way too big because you've got it, each house is that size, but then you've got 6 little tiny homes for each of or actually technically I think there's 7 or 8 homes because as I said, I copied this from the style challenge, and in that one there was like 7 or 8 homes, and so all those homes are still there, but I'm actually only going to end up using 6 of them in this challenge because there's 7 colors in the rainbow, but then the last 2, indigo and violet, I'm going to be combining together as purple, which probably go for like a lavender shade when I get to there. So yeah, so this is their little his little home, and the window covering was hellacious. I don't know what it is, but I could not find a shade to fit that window. It's like the one that does fit the window width-wise was way too long, and the one that I could get to fit up vertically was way too wide. So yeah, that was a real struggle. Not real happy about that one. I really wish there was some more window shades. Excuse me, window shades that actually fit the window. And I also just remembered that I forgot to put a window shade on the front window for the living room. This is usually when I put the window shade on this one, I'll remember to flip around to the front, to the living room, inside of the living room, and put the window shade on the living room, but this time I completely forgot to do that. So yeah, I'll have to go back in later and do that if I even remember to do that. So yeah, I'm working on. So here, as you can see, I'm working on the kitchen real quick, just kind of putting up some decorations. Throwing up some decorations. I, again, tried to go for kind of a light orange peach type of color. And then we move upstairs to the bedroom. I did kind of play around for a second with that one glowing tile. I really wanted to use that when you look at the build and buy, it looks like it would be light enough to work, but then when you actually go to place it on the flooring, it's way too bright and way too dark of an orange to be the vibe that I'm looking for this particular build. But I really wanted to use that one flooring, the glowing flooring. So I'm playing around with the beds, trying to decide which bed I like. The first one I kind of liked, but it just kind of, as I was playing around with the build, I just felt like it was too dark of an orange. I mean, it's not really that dark, but it really was too dark, so I ended up going with the one that you see here, and kind of playing around with finding a mirror for him. Because he's a guy, I just kind of felt like this little thin mirror would be appropriate. I know that's probably being stereotypical. I shouldn't be stereotyping like that, but I just kind of thought that mirror just kind of was the best fit for him. Although I could have maybe gone for considering he's a prince, low-key prince, I could have gone for a different mirror, but I just like that one, the one that I put up. So as you can see, I'm playing around with his bedroom and kind of putting in the decorations and looking for some, activities and things like that to put up. And downstairs, I gave him a guitar because there was a guitar that it was in an orange shade. so I gave him the guitar, and so I thought it was just fitting to give him the that decoration on his wall in his bedroom. I don't know why I put that. I just felt it was fitting because of the guitar downstairs. And so anyway, now we have his deck. And that tree, I don't know how in the world that tree ended up in the middle of the deck there. I had to move that back where it was, which I'm not entirely sure how in the world it managed to get moved in the first place, except for the fact that my mouse seems to like to grab a hold of things and drag them, just from, like, with me moving my mouse around on the screen. It'll grab stuff even when I don't want it to. It'll grab a hold of items and then start moving them. So I'm constantly having to go in and, like, cancel out or get it to drop it and then replace things. And yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a little bit on the annoying side. I'll be honest. So I was originally going to use the little lounge chair that just kind of popped up there for a second, but then I saw the log chair, and I don't know why, but I just liked that vibe. It just seemed like it just worked for me. I don't really have a good reason. It just kind of spoke to me. So I ended up going with the log chair thing. And I know there's a table somewhere in there that I could have used with it, but I couldn't find it. So I just decided to go with that kind of peach, kind of light orange or peach, I'm not sure, colored end table that I used. And then a little bit later on, I do end up putting like a little pitcher thing. I think if you go into the kitchen and you go to miscellaneous, miscellaneous appliances, there's the little, like, pitcher set. I forget what it's called, so I can't tell you the name of it. But anyway, if you go there, there's that little pitcher set. And so that's what I ended up using here, and I used the orange. If you go to the swatches, there's like one that's kind of supposed to be kind of an orange color. So that's the one I ended up using. And then, of course, each of the homes has a grill, and I decided to give this sim the orange, the little planter box over there on the right hand side towards the outside of the deck there. And usually I put a flower or like kind of like a plant or something like that there, but for the sim I decided to give him the the planter box. Although as you could probably see, I did not give him any types of traits or aspirations to be a green thumb in any way. I just put that in for fun, so he can, go ahead and do gardening if he so desires. I don't know. I don't really have any plans to play with these Sims at all. I'm just using this as a means for the challenge. I'm also going to give him, as you'll see in a little bit, I'm going to give him a telescope, because that when I sorted by orange, that also showed up. So I thought the telescope would be a good thing to put in there. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much my last item. I did put it in backwards, so I had to flip it around, but I think this is pretty much my last item that I place in the game. So yeah, this one was a bit challenging in some ways. I think they all kind of are. The color challenge to me is somewhat challenging to kind of find, especially when all you have is the base game, and then a few of the packs. It's kind of challenging to find the right stuff to put in the game, but it was fun also. I enjoyed it. So as you can see, we're just kind of going through the little fashion show, and then kind of a little bit of some pictures of the different parts of the home. Anyway, guys, I hope you've been enjoying this video. So next Monday, we'll be doing yellow. So make sure that you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you know when that video gets put up. And if you did like this video, be sure and give it a like, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.